So, alrighty. Goal today is again just to continue working through our online lessons. Just to show you, you are looking for an announcement and an assignment, as usual, titled "Tasks for U5L5." This is Unit 5, Lesson 5. I do have a short do now that I'd like you to do. It's a little clip. It's just a 3-minute video. It's NASA scientists fact check The Martian. If you've seen the Martian movie, if not, it's still relevant. So watch that, and then there's a little Google form right now. Again, this is not graded, just for fun, but answer the Google form questions right there. I'll time us for 5 minutes to do that, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Go for it. All right, everybody, 5 minutes has passed. Let's come back together. Got about 6 responses. So do you think we'll reach Mars in your lifetime?
Yeah. Because like they were already talking about it. They just like need to overcome some challenges.
Yeah, a lot of you were hinting at a variety of different things, mostly the food, right? Sustaining humans as we journey out there. And if we're going to potentially live there, we're going to have to create food somehow. That was a common theme. A lot of you mentioned as well the heat, or again, remind me, was the surface of Mars really hot or really cold? You remember?
Cold.
It's very cold. So right, we would have to heat ourselves somehow. Yeah, a lot of you were hitting on food. Good. Some of you hit on radiation exposure as well, which is something I think a lot of people don't think about. But if we're going to do a long journey through space, we're going to have to somehow protect ourselves from the radiation that's in space, which we're normally protected from in our atmosphere. Water actually works really well. So we'd have to come up with some kind of like spacecraft that was surrounded by water. That could be a potential thing that could work. What blew my mind from our recent lectures was, again, how is the size of Mars compared to Earth?
Super small.
Yeah, way smaller. But they got the landscape right. A lot of you got at that in the topography in the film. But what they didn't get right, was the storm and the wind. You would never see a windstorm like that. The atmosphere is so thin. And there's a number of other things. You can watch longer videos that really take a deep analysis to it. But we'll be learning more about what makes planets suitable for life. And we're going to do a little bit more Mars stuff next week, or the week after next week, as we wrap up this project stuff. So any other questions or comments about the do now? All right, then it's the usual procedure. We are going to be hearing from, let's see, I think it's Ed and Win, right? Chapter 28.6, the failed planet formation. All the information is on the Canvas post there. It's the usual deal. I'll time 20 minutes to go through the lesson. Make sure you're providing feedback. Ed and Win, make sure you're filling out those 2 Google forms, and just be on standby if you have any questions. Any special instructions for you guys?
I don't think so. Work through the site, and then there's just a Kahoot at the end.
Cool. All right. And it's a individual Kahoot or a group Kahoot?
Edward, I'm pretty sure it's a individual Kahoot, right, Edward?
It's a group Kahoot.
Okay, yeah, I'm opening it right now.
I was wrong.
I don't really know how to share Kahoots. I could just share my screen.
Yeah, let's get everybody started on the lesson, and then Ed will walk you through what to do. Because I'm seeing this is just a link to the actual create screen, so I'll walk you through how to share that once we got everybody started. So, okay, Ed made a post to the discussion board, so just go to the discussion board linked on there. Timing for 20 minutes. We'll come back together to review. You might need to, I'll make an announcement if we can get the Kahoot link shared, then we should be able to work from there. So, all right, go for it. Ed, what I'm going to do is invite you to a breakout room, and then you and I can work things out here. About 3 minutes left. I assume most people have gotten through the website. Let's come together and play the Kahoot. Ed, do you think you have the Kahoot pulled up, ready to try to play as a group? Okay, so
Yep.
what I'm going to do is make you the host so that you can share your screen. And then you should be able to run it with us.
Just so you know, Mr. Haight, Sydney lost power.
Oh, okay.
About the Oort cloud and how it's like huge.
Yeah, that was new to me too. I didn't realize that that's just another ring of debris, basically, like all the furthest reaches of our solar system.
Yeah, it was
Interesting
like
stuff.
50,000 astronomical units long, something like that. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was pretty cool.
Any questions that popped into anybody's heads? I have one thing. You guys mentioned how Pluto is a dwarf planet because it has not accreted the debris in its orbit. What does that mean? Accreted the debris in its orbit.
When I looked it up, it meant like gathered or like collected everything. So from what the book said and what I assumed it meant is like there is no other large objects in Earth's orbit for it to run into, and I think that it meant Pluto hadn't gathered all those other large objects yet, so that in its orbit there's still a lot of other stuff, not just it.
Nice. Yep. That sounds right. It hasn't cleared its orbit. So the other thing is that India Times video you shared was great, but a little worrying. I mean, have there really been two almost disaster hits even this year? That I mean, it makes me wonder. Like, should we be more worried? Is NASA like keeping these things quiet so people don't panic? I don't know.
I was actually wondering about that too. I think they have a missile system though for asteroids and like big like things. I was looking into it. I don't know if it covers like that big of asteroids or that big of like meteorites, but I know for a fact they have like a missile system now. Like if there's like an asteroid that's going to hit a certain part, they can shoot it down.
Yep. Just nuke them out of the sky, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we have that kind of explosive power now. So. Yeah, anyway, that was interesting. It made me curious about what else is headed to our planet and how often that happens. So, any feedback on the website or on the Kahoot?
Thought the website was solid. It was like a good way to get my information down and go at my own pace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the lists of terms at the end was cool, useful. I feel like that would have been a good place to throw in a couple images of like a meteor or things like that. But anyway, that takes a lot of time though. So. The other thing too, the Kahoot was good. There was one question. It said, "Is Pluto a planet?" and it was true or false. And I was like, "Wait, what? That's quite. Which one's yes? Which one's no?" Anyway, I mean, I know what you were getting at, but it was kind of funny to be like, I'm not sure how that's phrased. Great. All right. Well, thanks, guys. So now that is any other questions or feedback? Did everyone fill out the feedback on the discussion board or Flipgrid? And you guys filled out the forms, right? Again, remember, I just need one multiple choice, one free response for the two of you as a group. You don't each have to submit one. So that is it for everyone who is in this class. However, I've got other classes that are covering other parts of the chapter. And so what I want to do is share one of their lessons with you as sort of like a guest lesson. And so we're going to start with the first section of the chapter that wasn't covered, which is the very beginning, 28.1. And so just to share my screen really quickly to show you what you should be looking for, because we're also going to do some guest lectures the next time we meet next week. But in the discussion board, you want to look for a post from me. And there's going to be a few of them, but the one I want you to do today is the guest lesson on chapter 28.1, the solar system is formation. You're going to look at the lesson made by Cora and Olive, who are in my C period class. And again, we're doing this for U5L5. So there's another Google site that you will click through. Remember to look for the tabs in the upper right corner. And then there's a video I'd like you to watch, Nebula Theory and the Origin of Earth. And then there's a Kahoot assessment. And I think hopefully I got the individual. I think that can be run as an individual thing. Let me check that though. Yes. So this one runs as an individualized thing. So you can tackle that whenever you are ready. So we'll time for 20 minutes, and I'll stand by if you can't get anything to work. Go for it. So I know Cora and Olive aren't here, but I have watched the lesson with them, taken notes before, and just want to hear your feedback. So what was anything new or interesting that you learned?
I thought how old everything was pretty interesting. I could show you the dates of like the Milky Way, and thought it was cool.
I also thought how when the sun ignited, it kind of like I don't know, blew up maybe when it got that nuclear fusion ignited. It like pushed everything away from it. I thought that's interesting how that contributed to the big gas boys being farther away.
Yeah, kind of how we ended up in four solid objects, solid planets near the sun. That then I think there might have been some debris, which you mentioned earlier. Though Earth is like accreted, or like there's nothing that big that Earth's going to collide into in its orbital path now. Yeah. Any questions that popped into your minds? The one thing I noticed, I liked how on their website they kind of, did you notice they broke down the theories by year, right? So they had like 1904 and then 1917, then 1960. The last one is 1964. And so my question was like, so is that it? Like, there haven't been any new theories since then? Like what we came up with in the 60s is sort of still widely accepted. And when I asked that of them, they said, yeah, there were some newer theories, but those are mostly based on what they were observing from the 60s. Like they do think that they're starting to kind of narrow down what's widely accepted, what there's a lot of evidence for in terms of what happened. And as you saw in the video, that's now what science has sort of pieced together so far. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting that we're still kind of working off of general just discoveries from the 60s, but that's when space exploration was really taking off anyway. So any comments on the website or the Kahoot? Which, by the way, as far as I can see on my results page, I just have to keep reloading it. But Bailey, it looks like you were the winner of the Kahoot. Congratulations. What did you guys think of the last question on the Kahoot?
Oh, did you learn anything? I said yeah.
Yeah, a little rigged there, and that was the correct answer. So that was the only way to. I think if you put false, you would lose points. But anyway, I thought that was kind of a funny way to conclude things with their quiz. So, alrighty. Any other questions or comments? Okay, kids. Then your only homework again is just make sure you have provided feedback. I know this was a guest lecture, but I'd still like you to hit reply to the post that I made with the lesson. You can type your feedback just like before, or make a Flipgrid video. There is a link to their Flipgrid, Core and all of Flipgrid. So if you want to send them a message from another section, you're welcome to do that too. But otherwise, we will have 2 more guest lessons the next time we meet. So everyone should now have filled out those 2 Google forms. With the test questions and reflection. You should be all done with that. But yeah, that's it. We'll just go through 2 more lessons next time we meet and start preparing for the test. Only other homework for the weekend is to start legitimately building your final Rube Goldberg machine and have a photo ready to submit by either Tuesday or Wednesday of where you're at with that. It doesn't have to be done, but at least show me that you've put some effort into getting your final machine made. So questions on that? All right, that's it for me, kids. Thank you very much. Enjoy the weekend. I'll hang around if anyone's got individual questions.